Hello and welcome to the Monster Painter. This time I bought a $30 lot of Clix models off of the Facebook Marketplace. Did I get a giant bargain or did I waste my money? Let's dig in and find out. So we have a box of MechWarriors, a giant fighting robot game from 2002 that featured that familiar HeroClix style base. So we're going to get a bunch of big robots. There is also a box of Mage Knight, the precursor of HeroClix, a great game full of crazy fantasy models and epic bad paint jobs. It is a big heap of miniatures, and now it's time to sort them out. So, unsurprisingly, we have a big pile of models in front of us. Some of them will be very useful, others not so much. There are straight up giant mechs and all manner of crazy miniatures. For lots of potential uses. So let's dig in and see what we have. Okay, well, we get a lot of 25 of these squad guys. Now, clearly they are not in 28mm scale. Great looking models. I guess they're 10mm. I don't play any 10mm games, so I don't think I can repurpose them for anything. But we got a wonderful variety. I don't think there's a duplicate in this whole lot. And I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I'll probably send them on their way. Hopefully somebody will be able to make some use of them. I did notice one thing that I did find very curious about all of these guys. They're all like sci-fi power armor dudes, except this one peasant company. Now, being a peasant levy fighting Vikings would have been a terrifying thing in the Dark Ages. Being a peasant levy fighting guys in power armor, that seems like pure suicide. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not doing it. So, in a similar sort of scale, but maybe with a little more utility, we have these three little, vehicles or ordnance, and while they are clearly not 28mm, they kind of work for another game that I love. They're about the right sort of scale you might expect in Gaslands. Not perfect, but not bad. And this guy in particular, what is he called here? The Trike Squad. This is perfect for a very hard kind of model to find in Gaslands, which is like a motorcycle or a bike. And I am going to pop this guy off his base and put him on a new base, and he's going to be a Gasland biker. Oh yeah, this is going to be some fun. Now, unfortunately, as the vehicles get bigger, their scale seems to get a bit smaller, which is really too bad because these are quite the awesome armored vehicles for all manner of, they would be great if they fit into the scale of Hot Wheels and I could use them in Gaslands. I'm gonna keep them because they're kind of awesome, but I'm gonna have to figure out a different game to play them in. And yeah, some really cool armored vehicles. And just to reiterate the definite scale problem, this guy's come off his base, so we can clearly see how he's just way too small to be a Gaslands war vehicle. You know, just too bad, but I'm sure I'm going to find a purpose for this menacing tank-like thingy. All right, now while the vehicles get bigger into proper tanks, the scale seems to get a little smaller, and they are absolutely no good for Gaslands. Great big cool tanks, very impressive weapons. I think I'm going to have to find a new game just so I can use all these bad boys in such a new game. Yeah, these are really really cool tanks. Very fun, very scary and impressive. Although, truthfully, they've got way too much DACA for a post-apocalyptic car game, so they don't even really stylistically fit. But I'm going to have to find a mech game to use my MechWarrior's Dark Ages models in, because I don't think I'm going to be playing MechWarrior's Dark Ages anytime soon. Now, while those tanks were definitely way too big for Gaslands, I got a pair of helicopters that are, you know, probably a little bit better in scale for helicopters in Gaslands. And that you can purchase helicopters in Gaslands, which is totally fun. And these guys will be able to pull off the job. They're a little wobbly, especially this guy. This one's a little more firm on his base, and there's some play value in these guys. They're probably a little small. They probably fit more in with the great big tanks, but you know, they kind of work in both. So I might use them as helicopters in Gaslands, or I might end up using them as helicopters in some future mech tank, space tank game that I haven't figured out what that is yet, but I'm gonna find one. So now we're getting into the mechs of the MechWarrior Dark Age, and they all have a bit of play value as their arms are movable and a little posable. Of course, we get into a question of scale. Now, they kind of look okay with the car, so they could be a kind of 1 in 64 Gasland sort of scale, but big giant fighting robots are a little bit like monsters. Their scale is really kind of ambiguous, and so they could work as a 28mm space robots or constructs or something. Big fighty they're still big, and they're still fighty, and they're still robots, and so yeah, I think they could work in 28mm, even though they're probably intended to be much bigger than that. Yeah, and these guys look great. I'm loving this stuff. But then we get the really truly heavy equipment robots with lots of play action. Look at that guy, so much fun. These guys are starting to look like they might be a bit out of scale compared to our 28mm Barbarian, as they look like they're really supposed to be colossal things. Still a lot of fun. I really like these heavy-duty industrial mechs, and I missed one of the vehicles, so here he is making his appearance, and you can really see how these mechs were intended to be truly enormous industrial machines of a scale unthought of by mortals. Well, really, the truck that this guy is based off is something else. It's really huge, but yeah, a lot of fun, and in context, in their proper context, they look enormous. Maybe in a 28mm context, they look huge. They could still work, I think. They could still work. We'll see. Now, a lot of these big fighting robots are clearly science fiction-y. I mean, this guy looks like he's about to transform into a jump jet and fly off to the battlefield. And some of them, I mean, a lot of them have guns as hands, and so are clearly just suitable for sci-fi. I mostly play fantasy, as you can tell. But, you know, when your big fighting robot is armed with a hand weapon, I don't care how sci-fi looking he is, he's going to end up as a construct, fighting it out in Frostgrave. Yep, that's your future, dude. Of course, whenever you buy a jumbo lot, you got to expect some of the models to be broken, and our friend here has lost his arm. That's going to be an easy enough repair. On the other hand, I got feet, but no body at all. That one's a mess. Maybe I can turn this into some terrain, you know, some debris. But these are the only two in the whole lot that were broken, which is kind of impressive. I don't know if that says something about how well cared for they were by the original owner, or how tough these old whiz kid models were, or rather are. Oh my, I've got so much of this stuff that I think I missed one little vehicle. What is this thing called? A Scimitar MK2, whatever the hell that means. some sort of little bit of ordnance. Great looking model. Again, clearly not in scale for the kind of games I play, so I'm going to have to find a new game to play. And at this point, the MechWarrior's Dark Ages models are all done, and we'll be taking this guy away. And we won't be needing our Corvette for scale anymore because it's on to the Mage Knight guys, and so we're getting angry dwarven warriors with some kind of fantastical looking shotgun, I guess, and we get a nice selection of these. We get 5 of them, I believe, 4, 5. Oh wait, 6 of them. So we got a whole unit. Wonderful. I love me some dwarves. All right, our 6 dwarves with their weird shotguns or muskets, their fantasy firearms, are joined by well, somebody who's clearly their captain, a dwarf with a fantasy musket and a little flag on it, clearly the leader. And we have a human with a similar sort of fantasy musket with one crazy big bayonet. I'm sure he could join the force. Dwarves don't always dislike working with humans, but we're obviously into the Mage Knight models because, good lord, the paint jobs are getting really unimpressive, shall we say. But that's why I like them, because I can rework them. And we get a dwarf, what is he, a dwarf berserker, I should have just guessed. Angry dwarf, angry little man with a big axe. Classic dwarf. So Mage Knight was always kind of a quirky game. I was never quite sure whether it was science fiction or fantasy. Kind of hovered in between the two, as so many things in these genres do, being both science fiction and fantasy. And so we get a couple of evil-looking soldiers who, terrible choice of color there, but you know, they've got some definite oligarch soldier menace to them, and yeah, I think with a fresher paint job, they're gonna look great. Okay, in the Mage Knight world, it is pretty clear that lawn maintenance is a dangerous and heavy-duty job, and it's a good thing I've got a whole crew of these leaf blower guys. What are they called? Black powder boomers? Very curious name. Anyway, they're, you know, solid sci-fi looking guys. They're gonna be fine. And I picked up, what did I pick up? 5 of them. Nope, I picked up 6. Starting to notice a pattern. Yep, so, you know, not fantasy, kind of sci-fi, but they're gonna work fine. I can find a use for them for sure. Alright, I'm not sure what this fellow is supposed to be, or is even doing at all. He's kind of a quirky model. What is he called? He's a Amotep incinerator. Well, that doesn't really reveal much. I feel like he's related to our leaf blower guys in the back, but I'm not sure. And when I don't know what a model is, I kind of like it because because it's fun, and he's a fun, strange model for sure. And the last of our fully, properly, totally, and clearly science fiction guys, we got these fellows. Imperial Disruptors are what they're called, and they got, I don't know, a nice big heavy machine gun and plate armor, which, you know, isn't very science fiction. I guess it is kind of science fiction. His armor is back on the battlefield even now, and these guys are gonna make you know, pretty good science fiction soldiers. Yeah, great stuff. I like them. All right, moving away from the definitely science fiction-y to the fantasy steampunky kind of thing, we get the steam golems, And I get quite a number of these, and it's starting to make me think that the person who previously owned this collection was a serious player of Mage Knight, because these are, I think, often considered to be the best units in the game. They're a really prized unit. They're fantastic models. I really like them. I get a whole freaking ton of them, 10 different models, which is a lot. I might have a whole army of golems soon. Yeah, and like I said, I really adore these models. The paint jobs aren't bad compared to most Mage Knights. They're definitely good stuff. A little bit of work and they'll be fantastic. Yep. You gotta love the steampunk steam golems. And it looks like we're back to the fighting robots. This time it's more Mage Knight style, and these bad boys are called brass golems, and I really like them. They really look like they're angry and wanting to fight, which, you know, that's great because that's what I want in a golem, angry and ready to fight. I'm really thrilled. But the robot onslaught doesn't stop. Now this guy is from 2003. Yep, 2003. And it's a robot dog, almost a robot dog, kind of a premonition of future drones to come. I mean, we're going to be facing a lot of robot dogs in modern warfare in the not too distant future. And then we get a robot with a spiky nasty club. Oh my gosh, I'm really thrilled with these guys. This is a lot of fun. These are going to make great constructs in Frostgrave and menacing robots in any kind of thing, science fiction or fantasy. Nice thing about golems are they're neither sci-fi or fantasy or steampunk, but they're all of it all at once. And this is a great selection of melee robots. And our fighting robots keep on coming, and they're getting bigger. This guy's got an axe and an attitude. Love it. But you know, I've always wanted a steampunk scorpion. I mean, who doesn't want a steampunk scorpion? It's something we all dream of as little children. Look like a terrifying monster for sure. And nice thing about Mage Knight robots is that they look kind of rickety, and well, the steampunk vibe makes them look perfect for fantasy. And this guy looks like one deranged killer robot for sure. Man, this is a great set. I'm really happy about this. All right, but our big fighting robots keep getting bigger. We got a golem with a bazooka. Nothing that anybody wants to see, and it looks like it's a magically inscribed bazooka. Very steampunk. Might be a bit of a stretch in most fantasy games where you know firearms are kind of break the feel. But then we have another robot, an orc bot. Oh boy, I can't believe it's taken me this long to know how much I wanted this orc bot. This is such a cool thing. Not actually called an orc bot. What's he called? A wraith golem. Well, he's an orc bot now because he looks orky, he looks dangerous, and he might be my favorite model out of this whole crazy lot. Of course, Mage Knight was known for some pretty quirky models, and what could be more quirky than a dwarf with a bazooka riding a robot ram with a, looks like his neck boings out and acts as a ram. It's pretty wild fun and very fantastical. And then we get a rider on a robot horse, a great big chunky robot horse that really says robot, not horse. And he's armed with a pistol, which is good because if you're riding a robot, you can't be swinging around an axe. These are really, really cool models and very, very quirky and unique. Although I think this guy here might be based off of some earlier Games Workshop model. I recall a robot horse somewhere in the background there. But Mage Knight has even more quirkiness in it. How about a guy flying on a robotic dragonfly? Oh yeah, I love this kind of thing. It looks like he's got a spyglass, so he's quite clearly a scout. And what better vehicle for a scout could there be than a genuine flying robotic dragonfly? And he's joined by no less than 2 other dudes mounted on flying robotic dragonflies, but armed with crossbows, right? You got a robotic dragonfly, but you couldn't produce a black powdered pistol. But well, you know, them's the breaks. Poor guys should be armed with something a little more appropriate. But you know, fantasy is as fantasy does. And these are some super, super fun models. And the absolute height of Mage Knight quirky imagination. Great stuff. And we finally come to the last 2 models in this box of, these 2 boxes of $30 Clix models. And we get something completely crazy. It looks like a gnome artificer in some sort of battle suit. Very fun, very fun. Ripley would be proud. And robotic wolf, cat, maybe it's a wolf. But these 2 kind of show the fate of the rest of them. They've been remounted onto Reaper bases. And that's what's going to happen to just about all the other guys. I'm going to remount them and get some use out of them in more contemporary games, because I don't know anybody who plays Mage Knight or any Clix games, and I'm not planning to start playing Clix games. I'm going to use these for all my wonderful, fun, miniature, agnostic games, and they're going to fit in, and they're going to do good work for me, because they are really awesome models. I'm really, really pleased with this lot. And there you have it, a great big lot of fighting robot fun. There is a mountain of potential with all these models. They are so much fun, I will have to seek out some mech games to use them in. It's going to take quite a bit of work to get them ready for their non-Clix wargaming future, but that's a lot of fun in itself. This $30 lot off of the Facebook Marketplace was definitely a great purchase, and I'm looking forward to all the fun I will have with this stuff. And you know what else is fun? Monster fights are fun! Tonight's match features this dwarven artificer who has watched the movie Aliens way too many times. He is a huge Sigourney Weaver fan and wishes he could have been the Keymaster. Versus this big bad automaton wolf monster. He is Robot Odin's cute little puppy dog. Who will win? Only the old bones know. Whew. Well, would you look at that? A real heavy metal rumble. And there you have it. The machine alone is victorious. Oh, hey, I'd just like to take a moment to thank my 2 members, Mark and Lauren, for their ongoing support. It's really appreciated. And if you would like to support the Monster Painter with money, just click that membership button just down there, and then you gain access to a members only monthly monster fight, digital badges, and I will reveal the secrets of how to sew corpses together and reanimate them using the power of electricity. Fresh bones, freshly painted. Remember to like,
comment, subscribe,
share the video, and ring the bell! Ring the bell!
You are watching Les the Monster Painter.